Chosen one, God looked at you and laughed with so much pride that heaven felt it. Not because you were perfect, not because you performed for people, not because everyone finally understood your heart. He was laughing because he knew his child had passed a secret test and would still be his child. You could have returned the wound not long ago, but it may have been so small that you almost didn't notice it. You might have grown angry. You could have stopped caring because you were in pain. You could have let the old you drive again, but you didn't. You stayed. You took a breath. Heaven saw that you made a different choice. You didn't find this message by accident. Your spirit is ready to understand what God already knew. So something stronger than habit brought you here. The world might not have seen the victory because it took place inside you, but heaven did see it. I hear the Father say, not as a show or a slogan, but as a holy witness that is my chosen one, hold on to this message in your spirit. You're about to understand why the laughter wasn't meant to be funny. It was fun. Chosen one, that word might make you feel something soft. It hasn't always been safe to laugh. Some people made fun of you when you tried. Some people laughed at you when you were in pain. Some people smiled while they didn't understand you, which made your heart guard itself, so that joy couldn't come in. That's why this picture is important. God didn't laugh at how much pain you were in. God didn't laugh at how weak you were. You tripped, but God didn't laugh. This wasn't the laughing of making fun of someone. This was the deep joy of a dad who knew how much it cost you to keep becoming who you are. There are kinds of laughter that hurt and laughter that heals. There are two kinds of laughter, those that show and those that hide. People laugh in ways that hide souls and in ways that bring them back home. You made me laugh in a second kind of way. It was a holy agreement. It sounded like heaven was noticing a victory that earth couldn't measure. Some people may have heard silence. God looked at restraint. Some people may have seen a wait. God saw the planning. A lot of people may have seen tiredness. God saw strength that wouldn't give up. That's why the sky shook, not because of how loud you came in. Not because you want to fight in public. Not because every enemy bowed all of a sudden. Even though it would have been easy to be angry, something inside you wouldn't let yourself get angry. Take a moment to think about that. How strong do you have to be to get hurt and still stay soft? How much faith do you need to keep going? When no one knows how close you were to giving up, you were chosen. The answer goes deeper than your personality. It's not just that you're strong. It's not just that you learned how to stay alive. No matter how hard things got, God was always there for you. Even when you thought you couldn't hold it together, the world often praises the person who is done. Heaven praises the person that is being made. The whole world is waiting for proof, numbers, cheers, and changes that can be seen. Heaven is close to the private room, the quiet morning, the pillow wet with tears, and the moment when no one saw you choose to obey. That's the room where God laughed. That's the room where pride grew. In that room, the Father saw his shaking. Tired and tempted child still decide to follow the narrow path. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us lift up the burdens of others and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give and it will be given to you is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. There was something eternal going on there. When you thought nothing was going on, it probably wasn't as big of a deal as you think. It could have been the message you forgot to send. It's possible that you didn't force the answer. It could have been the harm you didn't do. You may have said to yourself in a whisper, God, I don't understand this. But I won't let it make me mean, even though you were tired when you woke up. That morning you chose to carry your. It could have been the door you didn't go after. Heart with honor. You could have told someone about someone in the conversation, but you let God decide. Perhaps that's when old anger rose in your chest, but you didn't feed it. Instead, you breathed until it left your body. It might have been when you stopped pleading to be included in a life that made you feel small. It could have been the day you finally chose peace without anyone having to say what they did. In heaven, that choice was very important. Normal moments are what people call them because they can't hear what's going on in the spirit. They don't know what it sounds like when a chain breaks when you refuse to follow the old pattern. They can't hear the sound of your future changing if you don't go back to the person that pain made you. But God hears it. It's clear to God. God can tell the difference between someone who had a good day and someone who fought a war inside their head just to be nice. When he saw you win the war, happiness spread through the place that couldn't be seen. That's why the title got to you, Chosen One. It names something that your soul has been feeling, but couldn't put its finger on. You could tell that something was different, not close to you yet, not too loud. Not in a way that everyone can see. You went through a change. That change inside isn't a fluke. It's not being weak. It is not a mess. Your fire will not go out. It shows that formation is taking place in the secret spot where God does some of his most careful work. This is showing up in every part of your life. Snort, some of them don't talk. Some of them might have felt like they lost something. It might have looked like you were pulling back to some of them, staying still, or giving up some of your attention to the noise that used to control it. This is the first sign. No longer did you need certain people to understand you, not because it hurts less. A lot of the time it still hurts, but the need has gone away. Their misunderstanding doesn't hold your breath anymore, the way it used to. You can tell the difference. You may still want to get along with them, but their story is no longer a big part of who you are. You no longer put your worth in the hands of people who could only see you through their own pain. That's not being proud. That's being free. That's not being cold. That's what heals. Now you know that being understood by God is important. And that being misunderstood by other people is not the end of your life. Heaven saw it. The second sign is that you can be sad without turning it into anger. You can still cry. You might remember there may still be times when the pain comes on suddenly, but it doesn't control you like it used to. There was a time when your grief tried to speak for you. It tried to make every room after this one look dangerous. It tried to teach you that love always ends. Kindness always has a plan and trust only leads to disappointment. But you didn't want to learn that lesson. You didn't say, "We didn't feel pain." You didn't act like everything was okay. You just refused to let pain teach you everything forever. That refusal is holy, and God saw it. The third sign is that you're tired, but not empty. There's a difference. Tired means you've done a lot. Empty means that you no longer feel anything holy. Even though you're tired, there's still a little fire inside you. That flame might not roar all the time. There are days when it's quiet. It feels like one candle in a big dark room some days, but it's still there. And the fact that it's still there after all you've done is not normal. You keep thinking, chosen one, God wants you to feel strong again. But maybe God is already proud of you for keeping the candle lit when storms should have put it out. That soft flame is important. A lot of the chosen ones miss the fourth sign. You don't go after doors that make you give up your spirit anymore. It feels faster now. Even if a place looks great, if it makes you feel peaceful, you'll move away. This is knowing what to do. This isn't being lazy. It's not that you're getting tough. You are learning that not every open door belongs to you, and not every invitation lets you into the soft parts of your calling. At times you would have ignored that voice inside your head. You would have given too many details. You would have tried to show why you should be picked, but something has changed. Heaven saw that you aren't pleading for rooms that can't honor your spirit. The fifth sign is that something good is coming back. You might be surprised by this. You might have thought that after everything you've been through, things would get harder, colder, sharper, and harder to reach. But there are times when you still feel amazed. A soft song can move you. A small act of kindness can move you because you still believe that God can speak through everyday things. A small sign can make your eyes tear up. That's a valuable part of you. That part of you is not stupid. That's the child in you that lived through life without turning into a child. Fear tried to bury that child, but God made sure that child could breathe. That's why the dad laughed with pride. He saw that life didn't have all the power to hurt you. He saw that being betrayed didn't make you worship doubt. He saw that waiting did not take away your reason to hope. The sixth sign is that you can see things more clearly, but your heart isn't colder. Now you see more. You can hear the tone of what people say. You can feel the weight of the silence. You can tell when something is clean or not. The miracle is this, though. You have not said that you were wise as an excuse to hate everyone. You're more careful but not mean. You know more but you're not shut down. You're more careful but you're not dead inside. That scale is holy. A lot of people become aware and then get mean. A lot of people get hurt and then call their anger wisdom. But you are being changed into someone who can see clearly and still love rightly. Even heaven saw that. Seventh, you feel like you're about to make a big step forward, which scares you. That's not okay to say out loud. You might tell yourself that you're just tired, but you know that being seen means you have to take care of things. You've prayed for doors to open, but when you feel the handle turn, you get scared. You ask God to use you, but you're not sure if you can handle what comes next without losing the softness He just gave you. It doesn't matter that you're afraid. It shows that you know about wait. To show you're not after attention for your own sake. It shows that you understand that being picked isn't a costume. It's a calling, and you have to carry callings with clean hands. These signs aren't meant to make you look good, chosen one. These people are here to help you see what heaven has already seen. What you are now is not the same as when you went into the fire. You're not the same person who was about to give up. When you went in, you needed everyone to explain themselves. Now that you're done, you can let them go. You went in reacting to every wound, and now you're pulling back. You were afraid of the quiet when you went in, but now you can hear God there. That's how things form. There's proof there. That's why heaven didn't find the laughter strange. You think it's strange because you've been judging yourself by what you can see, but God has been looking at what you can't see. Your patience will pay off in the end. Your silence bears fruit. You didn't let your grief change you into someone you wouldn't recognize, which is a good thing. As you learn to receive without fear, good things will come your way. Right here is where the first door opens. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pin. Comment whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our It is a sign from God Koi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. There is a deeper truth waiting for you beneath every sign, every tear. And every time you felt like God had turned his back on you, heaven wasn't waiting for you to show how great you are. Heaven watched you become real, chosen one. Heaven was keeping an eye on more than just how things turned out for you. It was looking at your formation. People looked for proof they could see. But God saw how your heart felt when you were under a lot of stress. While everyone else waited for the door to open, God saw you stand there with the door closed. That's why you can't just look at how things have changed around you and judge your life. You've gone through some of the biggest changes. You might not get any more cheers yet, but even though you don't have the answer yet, you're not in the same frame of mind. There is a type of growth that doesn't make itself known. It doesn't come with a lot of people. It does not ask people in the room to pay attention. It sneaks up on you while you're doing normal things like doing the dishes, checking your messages, paying bills, and trying to carry on with your day. That hidden growth is holy. It was seen by God. God saw the pause you made before you spoke. God saw that you had pain, but didn't use it against yourself. God saw how you kept your hands clean, even though you had many reasons to be mean. This is how things form. This is not a punishment. It's not being turned down. It doesn't mean that no one has remembered you. Formation is what happens when God lets pressure show you what's real, while keeping the parts of you that can't be destroyed safe. As a chosen one, people often judge your blessing by when you arrive. God often judges it by how it lines up. Folks want to know if you have the job, the partner, the cash, the apology, or the open door. God inquires, what has happened to your soul while you were waiting? That's why heaven could be happy before people could understand. God looked at the roots while people looked for fruit. Heaven saw people following the rules while they were looking for results. Heaven saw someone being made who could do more without changing too much from God. Once upon a time, every delay felt like a verdict. You thought that being quiet meant no. You thought that waiting meant that it was over. You thought hidden meant not good enough. But the Father wasn't going to hide his pride until other people thought your life was impressive. He was happy that you kept going. He was proud when you prayed without using fancy words, that you told him you were tired, but didn't give up and give in to despair made him proud. When you chose the narrow path without praise, he was proud. That is the kind of moment that heaven keeps track of. It might not be a trend anywhere in the world. No one might call you strong because of it in the place that couldn't be seen. Though something good was written about you, and the Father was glad to see it. This is what I hear over that hidden season: they didn't see what I saw. After the door shut, I saw the tears. I saw how calm they were after the insult. After being let down, I saw the faith. I saw that my child was getting stronger. Because you were chosen, the laughter was holy. It came from being known. It came from happiness. It came from the happiness of having a dad who knows the whole story, not just the part that other people used to judge you. There is an old picture in the Bible that shows the same kind of tenderness. In Zephaniah 3717, there is a picture of God being happy about his people. He is not just putting up with them or barely accepting them. He is truly happy and loving over them. The Hebrew idea behind the saying, rejoicing, moves things. It's not a simple yes. It's not a cold nod from a throne far away. It is delight that rises and shines. And because love is moving through it, it can't stay dead. This is important because a lot of the chosen ones think God is quiet, serious, and hard to please. He may look at your life and make a list of all the bad things you did. But the Bible paints a different picture, a God who is happy when things get better. That doesn't mean God doesn't see your hurt. That doesn't mean he's good at everything. It means that your process doesn't take away from his happiness. It means he can teach you without hating you and correct you without feeling bad about yourself. So pay attention when this message says that God laughed with pride. Do not listen to jokes. Do not understand sarcasm. Don't listen to laughter that made you feel small. Hear the holy joy going through heaven because God kept one of his children. You're more important than you know when you're a child. Things in life tried to hide that child. Pain tried to make you doubt everything that was good. There were times when betrayal made you feel stupid for trusting, and there were times when hope made you feel unsafe. You still have something in you that reaches. Some part of you still hears. You still think that God can talk to you through a quiet sign, a heart, a sudden calm. That moment that feels too exact to be random is not a sign of weakness. There's proof there. You were hurt as a child, but that child was not erased. For a while, the child inside you shut down, but it didn't die. That part was kept alive by God, because your calling still needs wonder. Healing can start in the spirit or in the way your mind has learned to stay alive to protect you. The mind can start to narrow your world when you've been under a lot of stress for a long time. You don't think as freely, you receive less often. You expect less good things to happen. That's not because you're broken too badly to fix. It's not that you're lazy. It's not because you're not as talented as you used to be. The mind learns to stay guarded sometimes in order to stay alive, even when God is trying to make it open again. For that reason, I want to name this thing something soft. The Genius Switch is a simple tool that was built around an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence that is meant to activate the whole brain. It has something to do with Dr. Daniel Barron and his group. It doesn't take the place of God. It's not a promise that someone can buy your calling. It's not a quick way to get better. It's just one tool that can help a mind that has lived in survival mode and now wants to practice receiving again. You can click on the link in the description and the pinned comment if your spirit tells you to. If not, keep getting this message without feeling rushed. The real truth hasn't changed. God is making you more like a child again. That place where kids would play is not silly. This difference is important. Childish avoids taking care of things. Be like a child and stay open to wonder. Childish wants to be in charge. Like a child, you learn to trust. Childish acts out of fear. Childlike gets help without having to take over the room. The world did its worst to make you an adult. It taught you to look in every room for danger. It taught you to be ready for sadness before happiness could take a breath. It taught you to keep your hope hidden so that no one could make fun of it. But God never told you to stop feeling things. He never told you to mix up tough with being mature. He never told you to hide kindness behind spiritual language and call it wisdom. A heart that is guarded may feel safe, but it can't fully receive. This is the reason why acting like a child is not regression. Repair is what it is. It's the return of clean trust after being hurt dirty after a hard disappointment. It's the return of simple prayer. It's the return of wonder after life tried to make everything feel snorts heavy. You are not being told to forget what happened, chosen one. You are not being asked to believe people who aren't safe. Snorts, you are not being asked to give your pearls to hands that have already shown they can break them. It's still important to be careful, but being careful and open can live together. You can have boundaries and be tender at the same time. Being wise and being amazed can live together. Not letting what hurt you, it doesn't mean you can't let what God is trying to send in. That's the balance that heaven is proud of. You are finding out how to stay soft without being simple to use. You are learning how to really forgive people. You are learning how to love someone without giving up on them. This isn't little. That balance will be hard for some people to get. Some people only knew who you were when you could meet their needs. Some people called you nice when you didn't care about them. Some people liked your patience because it let them avoid taking responsibility. They couldn't clap when you started to change. There was a part of you that they didn't know how to celebrate because it made them feel better. They told you to keep your peace. They said it was your healing pride. They said that your clarity was cold. This is why applause from people stopped being reliable. Some people can't be happy about things they can't change. Some people can't honor a healing that wasn't their idea. There are people who can't bless you when your freedom takes away their way to hurt you. Chosen one, don't let that make you angry. It will help you see their lack of response doesn't mean your growth is wrong. Making them feel bad doesn't mean you've turned mean. They can't see you, but that doesn't mean God isn't looking at you. God saw you. Heaven saw you. Every line had a price for the Father. He knew that every no meant a lot of pain. He could see the shaking behind every answer that seemed calm. During those nights, he saw you wonder if choosing peace meant losing everyone. Still, you picked peace. In the end, you chose formation. Still, you picked the slow path that was good for your soul. That's why you can feel divine pride before you even get the public reward. There is a soft sadness in being praised by God, before people understand. You might feel both proud and alone at the same time. It's possible to feel both chosen and tired at the same time. Even if you're thankful, you may still wish someone had seen earlier. You are not less spiritual because of that. It helps you be honest. God doesn't mind that you need comfort. He knows that you were made for love, family, and a safe way to connect with others. Secret times can be holy, but they can also hurt. Allow that truth to live. Don't act like the hidden place was simple just because God used it. You don't need to call fate into question. You don't have to say that being alone is strong. Honor what God made, but also be honest about what it cost. Not having a witness is not a bad thing. It's okay to want someone to tell you, I get how hard that was. It's okay to wish that the people who got strength from your strength had also cared about your pain. That being said, the first witness has already talked. Heaven has already leaned over the balcony. No one else saw the scene again, but the Father has already seen it. The part of you that thought it had failed has already been filled with God's joy. So take a deep breath. Do not hold yourself up. Loosen up your jaw. Slowly let the part of you that has been ready for disappointment understand this. Being tired won't get you in trouble. You are not out of the running because you needed comfort. You have used more than your ears to listen. Your body has been reminding you of a truth that you almost forgot. The truth is easy to understand. God will be proud of you before you are easy for other people to understand. He's happy with how things have changed. He is proud of how well he held back. He's proud of the trust that grows like a child after every season that tries to bury it. He is proud of how you are learning to receive without giving up your ability to think things through. The deck is still there. Heaven hasn't turned away. The Father is still keeping an eye on the small stage where your most private wins take place. At the point where shame tried to keep you from being celebrated, the next part of this message starts. Chosen one, a secret victory can come with a strange kind of shame. It doesn't feel like pride. The way it feels is not like rebellion. When heaven tries to celebrate you, it makes you feel bad because part of you learned to stay alive by not being seen. This is what tried to make you sad. Not just the weight, not just the turn down, not just the silence. It was the idea that being praised is harmful. There was a time when praise was linked to stress, jealousy, control, or high expectations. In this way, when God starts to be happy about you, your spirit takes it in. Your body may still brace, though there may be both fear and warmth in your chest at the same time. You might want to be seen, but the thought of it might make you want to hide. That doesn't mean you're not thankful. It means that your brain remembers times when you didn't feel safe paying attention. Maybe getting noticed used to mean getting bad reviews. There may have been rules about love. Every time you changed, someone may have tried to make you feel bad about it. This is why some people turn away every good word. You change the subject when someone tells you that you're strong. You laugh it off when someone tells you that you are gifted. As soon as someone tells you they see growth in you, you point out all the things that are still unfinished. You don't hate yourself enough to do that. You're doing it because it feels risky to receive. You worry that someone will take back the praise you get if you get too much of it. You are afraid that someone will call you cocky if you stand too tall. However, divine pride is not the same. God doesn't praise you to catch you. God isn't interested in making you do things. God doesn't call you chosen one so you can put on a lot of stress. His happiness sets you free. The enemy couldn't stop heaven from being proud. So he tried to make it hard for you to accept it. He tried to make blessing think something was wrong. He tried to make the peace seem short-lived. He tried to bring every good thing with a dark side, chosen one. This is where healing can be used. Learn how to receive without getting small. You need to learn how to let God be proud without making a fuss. You need to learn how to hear a holy word over your life without lowering yourself right away. You can be humble and still get things. You can be kind and still be praised. You can be picked and still be a person. Being humble doesn't mean turning down every good word. Sometimes being humble just means agreeing with what God has already said. Someone needed to hear that truth more than they thought. There were no loud people or exciting scenes in their story. No one else in the room knew that one normal night had changed them in a big way. A message that cut deep was sent to them. It wasn't just rude. It felt like something I knew. It hurt an old wound. The kind that makes you remember every time you were ignored, blamed, or made to feel too much. Their first move was to fire. They quickly typed the words. Each sentence was short and to the point. There was proof in every line. It was in their hearts to make the other person feel the same way they made them feel. At first, getting even looked like a good thing. After that, they stopped. They had shaking hands. There were tears before there was peace. When they read the message again, something stronger than anger told them. Not like this, not from here, not in this way. That's why they deleted the answer. They didn't act like it didn't hurt. The wound wasn't called small. They just didn't want to give back the poison that was given to them. They breathed, cried, and let God hold the part of them that wanted to fight back. The outside didn't change. There was no apology. No one all of a sudden got it. Nobody walked in and said, "I saw how hard that was." That moment was not small in heaven. Though that was the moment when a chain lost its power, that wasn't being weak. That was skill. That was not being passive. That was power with direction. That wasn't fear-based silence. That was silence that came from a soul that wouldn't go back to an old version of itself. Chosen one, that night may have been different for you. It could not have been a message. It could have been a talk. It could have been a memory. Perhaps the desire to hurt oneself came at a time when peace was beginning to look lightly. No one knew how close you were to the edge. You were almost back to the pattern. You almost spoke from the wound. You almost let the old chaos in because it was at least something you knew. But you stopped doing something. That stop was holy. That pause was proof. That breath wasn't empty. Haven saw you break a cycle that seemed stronger than your will at the time. That's why the Father was proud to see something that no one else could measure. A lot of people never connect one layer. It wasn't just your heart that was hurt by the battle. It changed the way your mind learned to stay alive. Years of stress can make the mind narrow, guarded, and tired even after the danger is gone. That's important because a chosen one can be mentally and spiritually worn out at the same time. It's possible to have a real assignment and still have trouble with fog. Even if you are wise, you can still feel lost. You can love God and still feel like you don't know yourself anymore. This is not an act of shame. It is a statement of mercy. Survival can keep you safe for a while, but it can also make it harder to get what you need. For some, it can make hope feel afraid. It can keep you from being creative. It can make it harder to picture your own future. Not only does the deeper restoration make you feel better, it's about getting back into the picture. Wisdom can use it. Peace is possible. Clear thought is possible. Available to trust like a child. You can reach the part of you that used to think life could heal instead of just wound. This is why what was said earlier is important. You didn't lose your childish side. You didn't lose the clear part of yourself. You didn't lose your creative side. It could have been hidden by years of preparing for impact. Stress, pressure, and disappointment. That's where a simple support can help some people, not as a way to be saved. Not as a promise that your future can be bought, and not as an alternative to prayer, wisdom, rest, or obedience. Just one tool for a mind that has been living in survival mode for too long. The Genius Switch is the name of the tool. It was made around an 8-minute targeted sound sequence that was linked to neural sync technology. It was made by Dr. Daniel Barron and his team to support whole brain activation, which means making the left and right sides of the mind work together better. This is important to chosen ones for a simple reason. When the mind is shut down, it can mistake survival for identity. You start to feel like you are behind, slow, dull, or blocked. It's possible that you're just living from a system that has been taught to defend itself instead of receive. This idea is based on facts from science. The Nobel Prize was given to Dr. Roger Sperry for his work on the split brain and how the two sides of the brain have different functions. His work helps show how much can change when the mind isn't working as a single unit. Think back to your childhood. There are a lot of kids who are naturally open, creative, and quick to learn. It's because they ask. They can easily imagine. Fear doesn't have time to say why it shouldn't work before they get the chance. Being that open isn't just a coincidence. Life snorts, then goes on. There's pressure at school. Social rejection does happen. Family problems cause stress. Failure does happen. The brain and nerves change. It makes the mind more practical, careful, and sometimes divided against itself. The creative part is still there, but the survival part is getting louder. That's why restoration can feel like going back to being yourself instead of becoming someone else. You're not trying to think of a gift on the spot. You are getting back in touch with something God put inside you before fear taught you how to hide it. Flow's state paints a different picture. When an artist makes art easily, a leader knows exactly what to do. And an inventor ties together ideas that didn't seem to go together. Something connected is going on in their mind. At this point, intuition, memory, thought, and imagination start to work together. That's the area that this tool is meant to help with. It's not just any soundtrack. It's not an app for meditation. The machine isn't very pricey. You should listen to it with headphones and close your eyes for 8 minutes every day. That ease of use is important. A lot of people who have been chosen don't need another complicated ritual. They don't need another thing that is hard to use and makes them feel bad when they miss a day. They need something that is gentle enough for a tired mind, but also purposeful enough to help them practice. It's an easy process. That's what you do. You shut your eyes. You spend 8 minutes listening. You do not have to force a vision to come to you. You don't have to always be focused. You don't have to do anything spiritual while the audio plays. People may feel like they can think more clearly. Some people may find it easier to make choices. Some people may notice that the mental fog isn't as strong. Some people may just think that they need to practice being still without fighting themselves the whole time. No honest tool should say that everyone will have the same experience. It's important that you take care of your life, body, stress, and season. But if your spirit has been feeling the pull to heal your mind, you might want to look into this without stress. Some similar in-person methods can cost hundreds of dollars for an hour, and some home equipment can cost thousands of dollars. This is why the price was set much higher at first. It's on sale for $39 for people who came. Here that comes with the 8-minute audio, access for life, and 4 extra bonuses that are meant to help with visualization, daily habits, and making better decisions. It wasn't priced at $500, $200, or even $100 by the team. The price that is shown is $49. About your life. You can also get your money back. It's important to know that because trust shouldn't be forced. You can listen. You can do it. You can see how your life and mind change. You have the right to back out of the deal. If it doesn't work out for you, one word of caution is worth saying calmly. If you look for names that sound like others on public audio platforms, you might find copies or fakes. Because the technology is tied to that release, the actual sequence from Dr. Verona and his team can only be seen on their direct page. If your spirit says it's true, the link is in the description and the comment that was pinned. Don't stress. Don't be afraid. No claim that a tool can stand in for God. You are still being called by God, and the help is just the help. Chosen one, understand that there is no product that can be God. You can't be picked by sound. There is no tool that can make the love of the Father take over your life. Before this message began, before you knew what the title meant, and before you knew how proud heaven was, that love was already there. The more important thing is still who you are becoming. This is how you learn to receive. You are getting better at not arguing with pleasure. You are learning how to accept help without giving up your own judgment. That doesn't show weakness, it shows maturity. Keep the message if this tool isn't right for you. Have a calm mind as you look into it if it's for you. Don't boil this whole revelation down to a choice about a product. Either way, the more important revelation is that heaven has already seen you form. God isn't giving up his pride for you. God's happiness isn't hidden behind a purchase. God isn't going to wait until you have a perfect routine before he claims you as his own. The Father already knows about the small wins that made you who you are. The tool may help the mind, but God heals the person. Prayer may help you see things more clearly, but only God knows what your calling is. You might listen to the sound every day, but heaven was already happy before you heard its name. Allow the stress to leave your body. Make the choice easy to make. Do not hold back your spirit. The message goes back to the holy place where it all began. God was proud of the part of you that had stood strong and not turned mean. That sense of pride is strong because you are still healing. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away just because you have questions. It doesn't pull away because you need help. It stays because it comes from the Father who knows everything, chosen one. The shame that comes with being praised is fading. You no longer need to hide from holy delight. When God calls you seen, you don't have to shrink. You don't need to say sorry for becoming someone that God can trust. The next truth is the one that has been on your mind since the beginning. God didn't wait for everyone to agree with him before claiming you. There was no time for the crowd to clap before he smiled. He knew already. He saw it already. He was already happy. In fact, he had already leaned over the balcony of heaven and seen the child who kept picking him out in secret. What he said about you was still important. That is the person I chose. God chose you before the world agreed with him. He didn't wait for everyone to agree with him. There was no time for the crowd to clap before he smiled. He wasn't waiting for your life to be over before he told you that your quiet obedience was beautiful. This is the truth that's been going around in your head after the door opened. You thought God would be happy. You thought he would be happy when the promise came true. You thought that heaven would be happy when people finally saw proof that your pain was worth it. But God saw the proof before anyone else. He saw it in how calm you were. He could tell by how calm you were. He saw it in the way you kept picking light. Even though darkness had an easy language for you to speak, you thought the blessing would pick you, but it was the other way around. The blessing isn't what makes you who you are. What God has been building in you so you can carry more without losing the tenderness he protected. He protected is shown by the blessing. That's why God's laughter is so good for you. It means that someone is not watching you from afar. You are known with love. You are being watched by a father who knows how much it costs to raise you. Some things you didn't finish may have been making you judge yourself. The door that won't open, the answer that won't come. The relationship that won't get better, the apology that never came. The money that's still tight, and the body that's still tired. All of that has been seen by God. He is not ignoring what is going on with you. Though while you looked at what was still the same around you, he saw what had changed about you. That change inside wasn't small to heaven. You didn't turn mean. You didn't let being turned down change the way you spoke. You didn't let waiting turn into doubt. You didn't let being alone make you believe that love wasn't real to be yourself. You didn't let pain take over. That's why heaven was happy. That's why your dad smiled at you. This is why the thought of God laughing has such power. God isn't laughing at your trouble. God is happy about the person who made it through. You were chosen. So take this without shrinking. You don't have to act like all of your wounds are healed. You are not being told to be done. You are being told to stop calling yourself a failure and start calling yourself formed. You're not behind because it took time to form. You are not weak because you did not get enough rest. Your heart still feels deeply. So, you're not broken. You didn't fail because your faith felt like a small breath some days. You're not too much. It's not too late. You are not hidden. We haven't forgotten about you. People tried to make you think you were a mistake, but you're not. You're not the rejection you lived with for years. You were the one who didn't quit when it made sense to do so. You were the one who softened when it seemed safer to be hard. You were the one who paid attention when pride spoke up. You were the one who kept the candle lit during the storm. You have been chosen, but not because of your ego. You have been picked to serve. You have been picked to be formed. You were picked because you were both tender and strong. You have been picked to be a safe place for the kind of truth that scared you before. You are getting stronger. It's becoming clear to you. You are being made clean in places where pain tried to leave marks. It is being made ready for you to carry visibility without worshiping it. You are getting ready to receive love without being afraid of it. Don't shrink back as these words are said over you. Listen to them slowly in your spirit. Allow your body to learn that recognizing the holy is not dangerous. Take a deep breath. Do not fight the truth. Let it come in. It is okay for God to see you. You are welcome to be praised by heaven. You can enjoy happiness without feeling bad about it. It's okay for you to stand in the light without getting cocky. You are not being picked. You're getting better at living like one. You're not looking for your identity. It is coming back to you. There's no need for you to beg heaven to see you. Heaven has seen you in places no one else has been. A personal victory has a lot of power. Even though it doesn't need one, God gave it one anyway. Even though it doesn't need praise, heaven answered anyway. It can be recorded without a person having to explain it. Heaven saw every time you didn't repay evil with evil. Heaven knew when you didn't give up your own soul to make someone else happy. Heaven saw every time you chose peace with your hands shaking. Heaven knew when you prayed, even when you didn't feel like it. Heaven saw every time you chose to forgive without acting like the hurt was small. Every time you kept your heart beating, it was clear to heaven after another letdown. This is what people will see in your life. Faithfulness, not perfection, formation, performance, obedience, noise or performance. Everyone missed something, but the Father saw the child who kept coming back to him. That is the one I chose. Wait for those words to sink in. Do not go too fast by them. Your mind might want to think about them. They might not want to listen to your fear. Even though your shame might want to turn it down, your spirit knows what the truth sounds like. Take one deep breath. Do not hold yourself up. Soak your hands in water. Let the part of you that wants to be punished out. Feel the difference between being scared and being revered. God isn't watching over you to hurt you. He is close to heal you. He's close to help you stay steady. He's close by to remind you that the hidden spot wasn't just empty. It was a place that formed. It was a holy spot. It was a spot where heaven kept records. You don't have to make yourself cry. There's no need to make someone feel something. There's no need to show that this message got through. What has already been said doesn't need to be pushed. It's okay for it to rest inside you. Let go of the old shame in that quiet. Let go of the shame of not being seen. Get rid of the shame that comes with wanting comfort. Let go of the shame that comes with getting praise. Let go of the shame of living an imperfect life. You don't have to bring everything over to the next season. There's no need to walk through open doors like you're still begging to be a part of something. Now you can walk in a different way. Not because people changed, but because you heard what heaven had to say. Picked one. This is where the message changes from performance to agreement. Not pressure or performance in agreement. When God speaks to you, your spirit can agree with it, even if your emotions aren't ready yet. Don't feel like you have to show how hard it was. Who knows? Let go of the need to make everyone see things your way. Who knows? Don't feel like you have to shrink to make other people comfortable. God knows what kind of person He made you. Let go of your anger toward those who didn't clap. Some of them couldn't see you. Some of them didn't want to see you. A few of them only knew the small part of you that kept their air comfort level. Let God take care of what they missed. Let God take care of what they messed up. Let God decide what you can't figure out without getting upset. You are not meant to spend your life arguing with rooms that have never learned how valuable you are. Don't be afraid that being praised will make you proud. The right kind of party will make you thankful. Being seen in the right way will make you careful. If you get the right kind of blessing, it will make you bow down, not stand taller than other people. Get holy joy. Feel pure joy. Feel the love of the Father without having to work hard for it. Accept the truth that God can be happy with what you're becoming while still fixing what needs to be fixed. Get trust like a child again, not blind trust in people who aren't safe. Do not blindly believe that every door is open. A pure faith in God. A quiet trust that says, I can be smart and still have hope. I can be smart and caring at the same time. Allow yourself to be celebrated without fear. Heaven doesn't want to make you look bad. As God lifts you up, He's not going to drop you. The Father doesn't call you out to shame you in front of everyone. Let the blessing cover your mind. May your thoughts become clear where fear made them jumbled. May wisdom grow without fear. May your creativity come back without any stress. May your attention become steady, kind, and pure. Allow the blessing to cover your body. May the stress you were feeling start to go away. May your breath remind you of being safe. May your sleep get lighter. Your nerves should learn that peace is not a trap. Do not let the blessing cross your lines. May your yes turn out to be true. May your no get calm. May your silence lead you, not scare you. Please keep being kind without letting anyone get to what God told you to keep safe. Get the blessing over the door next to you. It should open on its own. May it end without a fuss. May it show you who is on the same page as you and is still stuck on the old version of yourself. May you go through it with clean hands and get this seal of identity. We haven't forgotten about you. You are made, you are not thrown away. You are getting ready. You are not hidden because you don't have any value. You are hidden because some things are grown out of the way of careless eyes. You are not forgotten. The Father tells you are made. That's enough for now. Chosen one, you don't have to figure out the whole future right now. You don't need to know everything. While God talks to you today, you don't need to think about tomorrow. It's not a joke that God laughs over you. It's a happy seal. Heaven is filled with joy over a child who lived through the wilderness and still stayed soft enough to be led. You are being watched. You are being held. You are getting better. You are being shown the way. It's the quiet place where you're getting stronger. So when the next door opens, you don't go and beg for approval. You come in as someone who has already been seen. You come in as someone who has already been loved. Before the other people in the room can figure out what you're there to do, you come in as someone God has already named. That's why the Father was proud and could laugh. He saw the end coming while the process was going on. He could see the harvest and the seed. He could tell that the hands were strong even though they were shaking. He saw the chosen one in the child who was hidden. And it wasn't because things got easier when heaven shook. It was because something real got through. Your faith lived on. Your softness lived on. Your ability to love lived on. You were still able to hear God. That living is holy. That they are still alive is proof. That's a big deal to stay alive. Their goal was for your pain to become who you were. But God kept calling you by your purpose, so take it easy after reading this. Do not go back to the noise too quickly. Be careful with the words. Bring them with you the next time you have to talk. Make a choice or be alone when old fears try to come back. Write this down as a seal. If your spirit says it's okay, I receive holy joy. If you mean it, write it slowly. Not to please or show off, just to remember the moment when your heart stopped fighting with holy recognition. Be careful when you send this message to someone else who forgot that God saw them. Send it to the person who is quietly making it through. Someone needs to know that God is not embarrassed by their unfinished work. Send it to that person. The link to the 8-minute audio support that was mentioned earlier is in the description and the pinned comment for those who felt called to check it out. Do not move at all costs. Let your spirit stay free because God is the one who can heal you. Chosen one. The people in the room might not have clapped yet. The sorry message might not have arrived yet. Even though the door hasn't opened yet, What mattered has already been seen in heaven. The Father is already happy about the secret win. Take it easy. Stand up straight. Take it all in. Heaven saw you before anyone else in the room did. The words over you are still true. That is the one I chose. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit Community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. When Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you," on this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and this is not poetry. Hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart. And as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now. Join the family and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment. A place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. Snorts, if you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take this step. Your abundance awaits.